This presentation is to assist HEAR students to complete the Student Assistance Fund HEAR Grant application form for 2013-14. The information relates to HEAR students only. As a reminder, the fund provides financial support to students who are in significant financial difficulty and whose participation in college would be at risk without this support. All HEAR students are eligible to receive funding from the Student Assistance Fund through UCD Access Centre, as they have already been screened and assessed as part of their Higher Education Access Route application. An exception to this are HEAR students who are in receipt of an Access Scholarship, UCD Scholarship, or a scholarship of significant value, for example a Department of Education scholarship, and students must inform the Access Centre if they are awarded a scholarship at any time during the year. In order to receive funding, a HEAR student must firstly complete the application form and secondly collect and submit receipts for their college expenses. Not all college expenses are eligible for the funding, however. Eligible expenses would include rent, travel, food, books and college supplies, utilities and medical expenses. Ineligible student expenses for which should not be submitted receipts are clothes, laptops, college fees, student levy, repeat fees or contribution charges, pet expenses, house repairs DIY, and loan and mortgage repayments. So how much do you receipt and what receipts do you need to give? If you are going to be providing receipts for your rent expenses, you may give a maximum of €500 per month, and you should provide a lease agreement or a letter from a landlord or agency which proves that you are a tenant at an address and gives the dates of that tenancy. Additionally, you need to prove that you have paid your rent, and you can do this with a rent book, rent receipt, or your bank statements. If you are providing receipts for utilities, for example heating, lighting or the internet, you may receipt for a maximum of €400 in total over the year. You should provide your heating, lighting and internet bills along with proof that this bill has been paid. It must be in your own name, or your name must be on the lease of the address that the bill is sent to. If you are contributing to a parent's utility bill, it must be accompanied by a letter from the parent which declares how much you have paid. But remember, there also needs to be proof that the full bill has been paid. If you are receipting for your travel expenses to and from college, you can claim up to a maximum of €400. You should provide weekly or monthly commuter tickets for national rail and bus travel, or you can provide petrol receipts, but remember it can only be petrol costs incurred for travel to and from college. Car tax, insurance and repairs are not accepted. You can receipt for your college books or materials you have had to purchase for college, up to a maximum of €300 over the year. You should provide receipts for college books, supplies or equipment, but please note that laptop receipts will not be accepted. An invoice or a book list is not sufficient to show that you have paid for these items, and book receipts which have been purchased with book tokens are not accepted either. If you are receipting for food, you may receipt for €300 in total over the year, but no more than €35 in any one week. Receipts for groceries or for meals on campus are accepted. If you are contributing to a parent's grocery expenses, receipts must be accompanied by a letter from that parent declaring how much you have contributed to that receipts. For medical or emergency receipts, please see Jenny first. And please also remember that the receipts must be the original receipts. We cannot accept photocopies. In total, your receipts should not exceed €750 for the year. So for example, you can give receipts for rent for €500 and for travel to and from college for €250, which adds to a total of €750. However, you may not claim receipts for €400 of travel, €300 of college books and €300 of food, as this exceeds €750. Let us now look at the application form. The first page of the form will ask you for some personal details such as name and student number. It will ask what your living arrangements are for this year. We will also ask if you have been allocated funds in a previous academic year, such as HEAR, Student Assistance Fund, Student Welfare Fund or Childcare. You do not need to remember how much you were allocated, just whether or not you were, so please just tick what is relevant to you. If you are repeating a stage in 2013-14, please tick yes, otherwise tick no. Section B of the application form will ask you firstly about your fee status. If you're on the free fee scheme, please tick here. The EU fees, tick that, and for non-EU fees, tick the third box. For your student grant information, we will request this from the UCD Fees and Grants Office. You must declare whether or not you are in receipt of a bursary or scholarship from a source other than HEAR or SUSI in 2013-14. Please indicate the source of this scholarship and the amount for this year. Section C will ask you about any social welfare support which you or a parent are in receipt of. Section D will ask you if you have any dependent children. And Section E will ask you what your previous occupation was before entering UCD. For most HEAR students, this will have been a full-time school student, so tick the top box. However, you may have taken a break before coming to college, so please indicate whether you were full-time employed, whether you were unemployed or not available for work. It will also ask you what your highest educational qualification is so far. For most of you, this will be your Leaving Certificate. However, some students may have completed a FETAC or a PLC qualification, so please indicate that in this section. This section also asks you if you are in receipt of disability support from the Access Centre. Please tick yes here if you are and no if you're not. And finally, you should indicate whether you are engaged in any part-time work during the year. You should sign the application to verify that you have answered honestly, correctly and completely. And this also allows us to access your UCD record and HEAR application record for any further information we may need to process your application. Don't forget to date it. Let us return to the receipts again. The last part of the application will give you an opportunity to detail the receipts you are submitting. If you are claiming for rent, please remember the maximum is €500 per month. So please write the date of your receipt and the amount of this receipt. If you are submitting a second receipt, you would indicate it, go on to the next line and write the date of the receipt here and the amount of that receipt. You would write the total receipts in the final line of this column. Remember that you must also provide proof that you are a tenant at that address. Similarly, for utilities, the maximum you can claim over the year is €400. So please indicate the date of the receipt you are providing and how much that receipt is for, and total on the bottom. Again, you need to provide evidence that you are living at that address if the utility bill is not made out in your name. Travel to and from college, as a reminder, you can claim €400 over the year, and you should, similar to the other items, indicate the date of each receipt and how much that receipt is for, and total it at the bottom. For college books and materials, again, €300 is the maximum you may claim over the year. Indicate the date of the receipt, the total amount you are claiming, and total it at the bottom. For food, remember, you may claim a maximum of €300 over the year, with no more than €35 in any week. So please indicate the date of your receipt and the amount you are claiming, not to exceed €35 in any week. For medical and emergency cases, please see Jenny before submitting any application. Don't forget to sign the application. This verifies that you are saying that these are your expenses, they have been incurred by you to support your study and have not been paid already by any other agency. To submit your application, return the completed form with the receipts securely attached to the UCD Access Centre, 103 Tierney Building, UCD. You may use our red postbox outside our door if our office is closed when you call. After you have submitted your application and receipts, we will do our best to check your application and approve your grant as soon as possible. We aim to have this done within a week, however, at busy times it may be 2 or 3 weeks. Once checked and approved, your grant will be paid electronically to your bank account. You will receive an email telling you that a payment is waiting. You should then log on to your SysWeb, go to My Electronic Payments and input your bank account details. Please remember we do not have access to your bank account details. Within 5 working days of your payment being made, it should clear in your account. Should you need any advice, support or assistance with either the application form or the receipting requirements, please don't hesitate to call to the Access Centre and ask for some help. And please, most especially, if you're in financial difficulty at any stage during the year, please call and see Jenny as soon as possible, even if you do not have receipts. Remember, the earlier you get your application submitted and checked, the quicker you will get your grant.